Gen Z can create all the results they want for themselves. I wanted to dedicate this video to our youngest generation, Generation Z, and how Gen Z can use modern day technologies with old strategies, ever-working strategies, to create the results they're capable of. We want to talk about some of the obstacles Gen Z has to overcome in order to create these results. And we also want to talk about how the strategies are very much the same as they were or are for millennials, Generation X, or the boomers. Certain things have changed, but the strategies are still the same. The mindsets are still the same. Gen Z immigrants have so much more going for themselves than any of us did. And I'm going to tell you why. Now, Gen Z, the youngest generation, right? If you were born between 1997 and 2012, you're one of the luckiest people alive. You grew up with iPhones, smartphones, computers, all technological devices that a lot of the older generations did not have access to when they were young. From this perspective, Gen Z has a tremendous advantage over the older generations. However, as I've already revealed, the strategies are still the same, but the systems have changed. However, I believe that the inner circle remains the most powerful tool Gen Z can utilize to create the results they're capable of. The concept of the 3 to 5 people you spend the most time with decide who you become as a person still applies today. You want to be very mindful of the people you spend the most time with, especially the 3 to 5 people you dedicate most of your time to. Could be your families, could be co-workers, friends, relatives, people you're dating. It is very important to sustain high levels of consciousness, to create the kind of environment, the nourishment, support that will allow you to create the results that you want for yourself. Nothing's worse than choosing and creating the wrong inner circle that is not conducive to your overall wealth generation. What's important about Gen Z, something that I have spotted, is that Gen Z has access to all these technological devices that many of us did not have access to. And this comes with pros and cons. Technological devices allow you to create the results that you want, such as working a location-independent business, crypto trading, coaching, consulting, other forms of digital monetization methods that so many of us were unable to utilize when we were younger. However, now the internet is our oyster. There's so many opportunities to generate wealth that it's actually not so difficult if you're focused on the right things. So there's always the if. Your inner circle is important because let's say you are a member of the Gen Z. You are anywhere from, say, 16 to 27 years old. You have heard about the idea of creating a location-independent business where you can live anywhere you want for as long as you want. You've heard of this idea and you've been thrilled to implement it. You can't wait to get started. This is great. What happens to a lot of people is that as soon as they reveal their plans of, say, immigrating to another country, they reveal these plans to very close personal friends or family members who are not congruent, who are not in alignment with their vision. They typically don't get the nourishment they need to implement those plans. And so oftentimes the natural tendency is to listen to your inner circle and do as they say. This is very common. However, it is not in your best interest to have an inner circle that is not supportive of your very vision. The most important thing that you can do in your life is to surround yourself with people who support your vision. Likewise, you should support the vision of your friends, the people that are important to you. This is more important than anything. So the key takeaway of this video is for you to pay very close attention to the people you spend the most time with and maximize the amount of time you spend with people who support your very dreams. And as a Gen Z immigrant to Latin America, Asia, Africa, Europe, wherever you live or aspire to live, it is of utmost importance that you surround yourself with the people who are supportive of this very vision of yours. And I'm speaking from personal experience because not too long ago, I was in a very similar situation where I did not have the supportive social circle that would help me to get to the promised land. So I had to make a lot of changes in my personal life. While I'm not a member of Gen Z, I'm a millennial who also had to undergo the same process to create prosperity in my personal life. And I know what it's like to not have wealth, I come from a middle-class family where wealth was not a given. We were not poor, but we were also not rich. We were middle class. We are middle class. My family is middle class. And because of this middle class mentality, certain things were not too common, such as moving abroad to create a brighter future for oneself. I had to do this on my own. Well, not exactly. I had to find people who were in alignment with my vision and who shared the same vision with me. People had the same plans. I'm talking about people who worked online at the same time I started to work online. I spent more and more time finding people that had the same dreams. And guess what happened? We created great networking experiences online. And it got to a point where I had continuous conversations with like-minded people who aspired the same lifestyle as me. And in fact, some of these people were already living the lifestyle I wanted to create for myself. And this was very inspirational for me because it was clear to me that my dream was possible. Had I listened to the people who did not want me to achieve the dreams that I wanted to realize in my life, I would have never achieved what I achieved. Thanks to the people I met over the internet. And the internet is a great technological tool that you can use to create an inner circle that is conducive to the achievement of your personal dreams and goals in life. And I want you to pay very close attention to the 3 to 5 people you spend the most time with, especially when you're young, in your late teens, early 20s, mid 20s, when you're still very receptive to new ideas and you have time, you have no commitments. You're on your own. You don't have a family to take care of. You have no real financial commitments, perhaps a car. You don't have a mortgage to pay. The life is your oyster. You have so much time to create the things that you want to create. Another thing I wanted to talk with you about is taking chances. Taking chances is very important. As a Gen Z immigrant or an aspiring Gen Z immigrant, you want to be taking chances to create the results that you're capable of. While taking chances does not have to be taking unnecessary crazy risk. Taking chances is about accepting well-calculated risk and pursuing things that you believe are possible. And these things are usually possible by acquiring the right skills. Back in the day, before I moved abroad for the very first time in my life, on my own, I saw a lot of people who moved to Thailand. They had no money saved up. Many of them were professional poker players, online poker players. They had one dream, and that dream was to live in a tropical paradise while playing poker online. It was a very attractive dream that many realized back then. However, many people did not have the savings needed to survive a not so good time. Poker is a very volatile income stream, and so having money saved up is very important. As a Gen Z member, chances are you're not going to make your money by playing poker online. Chances are you're going to make your money by working a location independent business. Chances are you're going to make your money online by creating some kind of online consultancy where your income can be generated no matter where you live. Or perhaps you are some kind of trader, an investor. Maybe you are an advisor to a company or multiple companies. It's very important that you have some money saved up for bad days. And the 3 to 6 month rule is very important for newcomers. It's very important for people who have never lived abroad. Moving abroad without savings is a tremendous risk that I don't recommend you to take. While you don't have to have hundreds of thousands of dollars to move abroad, it's important that you have some kind of cushion for rainy days. And I cannot stress this point enough. As I've stated, it is very important to have a cushion. And the cushion will enable you to make it through the bad days, weeks, and possibly even months. And this holds especially true for people who engage in very volatile activities. If you have a more consistent and stable income stream where bad months are a rarity, maybe having large savings is not so important. Since you are younger, you're like in your late teens, early mid-20s, you do have enough time to make up for your mistakes. Unlike a retiree who has to be much more conservative with their spending and with the chances they take, Gen Z has a lot of time left to make up for mistakes. However, we should not be fooled by the fact that bad days do happen. We do have bad weeks and bad months. So it's very important to have saved up enough money to make it through the bad days, weeks, and months. Gen Z members are very concerned about relationships these days. And for good reason. Relationships have become more difficult. A lot of people experience high turnover of romantic lovers. However, relationships are a very important and essential component of our life. Optimism is the cornerstone of human prosperity. And you have to have optimism not only in your location-independent business, but also in your romantic relationships. Optimism is a must. You cannot have success dating without optimism, nothing's possible. While it is good not to be blind about the potential risks of getting into a relationship, it is very important to remain optimism to start a relationship. However, it is very important to be kind of red-pilled. The red pill analogy is very much applicable to Gen Z members aspiring a romantic relationship in the 21st century. It is important to see the pros and the cons of entering a relationship with a new romantic partner. It's not all sunshines and unicorns. Sunny as well as rainy days exist in a romantic relationship, and Gen Z members are not exempt from this fact. So it's very important that you consider everything, and it is highly advisable for you to create some kind of relationship plan that you obey by. And the same also holds true for your romantic partner. Create some kind of plan, and ideally the plan should be in writing so that you can refer back to it at a later point in time, especially should you break certain rules of this plan. So I recommend you to create some kind of relationship plan, just as you would create a plan for your business, a business plan. You want to create rules that both of you and your romantic partner, obey. It's the same as a soccer game. A soccer game does not exist without rules. And the player who doesn't obey by these rules often gets sent off. And the same should also be applied to modern day relationships that Gen Z members are part of. This is incredibly important. I cannot stress this point enough. And oftentimes we have a plan for our professional lives, but a plan for our romantic lives does not exist. And a lot of these skills aren't taught in school. Relationship skills are often only learned by putting in the time and making the mistakes necessary to learn the skills that will make a relationship work. Life for Generation Z members is all about taking chances, not only in their professional lives, but also in their romantic lives. Don't let certain mainstream narratives scare you away from taking chances in your romantic life. And like I've said, it's not all sunshines, unicorns, and rainbows. Rainy days are ahead. However, with proper preparation and the right relationship plan and rules that you obey by during bad and good times, you will create the kind of relationship that you want for yourself. It's important to be red-pilled, but still remain optimistic at the same time. As I've said, optimism is the cornerstone of human prosperity, and this is applicable not just in your professional career, but also in your love life. In closing, I wanted to highlight another very important principle that is super applicable for your professional life. Whatever you decide to do, be it starting a business, creating a consultancy, working for an IT company, or becoming a crypto trader, it is super important that you're aware of the things that you're good at and the things you're not good at. You want to keep doing the things that you're good at and enjoy doing. Then there are things that you're good at but don't enjoy doing. Maybe you have natural talent in certain things. You're good at them, but you don't necessarily enjoy doing them. Then there are skills that you are not good at, but you enjoy doing them. So potentially you have opportunity to grow in these areas, but it depends on how much talent you have. And then of course, there are skills that you're not good at and neither do you enjoy doing them. And those things you should probably just skip. It's very important that you are aware of your skills, your weaknesses, your strengths, maybe things that upset you, because at the end of the day, you have to know yourself better than any other person on the planet. So basically, Gen Z immigrants have a bright future ahead of them. And if you are part of the Gen Z community and you're looking for more residence permits, you're looking to create more income streams, perhaps you want to diversify your assets, you want to set up offshore companies, whatever you aspire to do, you're welcome to contact Nomad Elite to help you with these processes. You should see our website displayed right on the screen. There's also a link below in the description of the video. Please contact us, book a consultation, and we will help you make the best possible decisions for your life. Thank you so much for watching Nomad Elite. We truly appreciate you, and we see you on the next video.